and immediately we are live.
Dude, I think we are live. I think it's the best way because when I used to do a podcast like every week, that's what I would do. Because I'd be, especially if you're like talking to a friend, because you're like, dude, I can catch up and all the good shit's like gone right away, before you're actually live. And you're like, oh, dude, what do we even say now that we're.
Yeah. Why did we just talk about this? Why don't we just go live and talk about it? So
exactly.
You're doing stuff with AI.
Yeah.
What are you doing, bro?
Dude,
let's talk about AI.
So, okay.
We're going to get all the clicks because we're talking about AI.
So, okay. I'm going to share my screen and show something that's like actually practical in just a second. But dude, last night, me and my friends were talking about, we went skiing last night and John just left. So it's all me. But last night, me and my friends went and we were talking about AI and like the open claw and all this kind of shit. One of my buddies bought Mac Minis and like set it up on his account. Anyways, and I was like, well, we were talking about it, and I was like, this sounds very interesting. So I started diving into it. I watched some videos this morning. I stayed up actually till fucking 2 a.m. or not 2 a.m. 1 a.m. last night, Colorado time, and was just fucking grinding on AI because I was like, this just went down a rabbit hole. Anyways, I now have bought a Mac Mini, which is right over here. Because I'm gonna fucking run this open call shit on my other on a local computer because for some interesting things. But dude, it can like do pretty much everything. So it's gonna replace like all VAs. It's gonna replace any like overseas admin work, and it's gonna basically like pretty much do all that. Like it can do all that like immediately. I had it actually last night. I spent a bunch of time like scripting out ads. I had it right. I trained it for like 2 hours on random sales calls, all kinds of stuff. And it's writing better ad scripts than I could and coming up with better angles than I could before. And I was like, bro, that's fucking good. So I can't wait to test it. But actually, I was talking to Zach about it, Zach Regan. And
did he tell you what we're doing with it?
He didn't tell me all of it, but I'm going to pay him to teach me how to set it up. So,
okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
I can fill you in on, so two different things that we are doing. Now, I'm not a nerd like you, bro. I just have other people set it up. I'm not staying up till 2 a.m.
This is what I geek out on for me.
No, I just pay other people to do it. So I have with both businesses, we're doing kind of two different types of application with this AI. Lane created something he calls Sentinel. And this is specifically for wholesalers. So Sentinel is built off of Google LM or whatever it's called, the notebook, or it's not called that.
That's Google's large language model, but whatever.
Google's AI. Yeah, whatever that one is. So it's built off of that. And I have no idea how he did it. Google Notebook LM. Yeah, Notebook LM.
Okay.
So I have no idea how he did it, but I can tell you what it does, which is really cool. So what it does is let's say that I want to find out how many leads Jamari closed on direct mail. And if I wanted to do that in Salesforce, I would have to go and basically like run a report off of that. But I could just ask, and then I could the shitty part about Salesforce specifically is the going back and filtering reports off of date ranges and creating dashboards. You can do it, but it takes a genius to do it. And you also have to, if you try to do custom date ranges, it makes it really difficult. Exactly. Like Resimpli is a lot better because Resimpli you can just do like this year, this week, this month, whatever, and then custom date ranges, and then it will give you all of that. But and I know Sherrod with Resimpli is working on something similar because I ran into him at a mastermind where he said this is going to be an application with Resimpli as well, where you can just ask the CRM questions about your data and then it will give you back answers. So instead of having to go into instead of having to go into QuickBooks and find out how much I spent on direct mail and then figure out how many calls I got from that, what my cost per call is and cost per offer, I could just ask this Sentinel anything that I want to know about my CRM. What's Jamari's average talk time per call? What's Michael's average close rate? What's Michael's average profit per deal versus Jamari's average profit per deal? And Sentinel will kind of spit out all of that. So that's Sentinel, what that's doing. And then what Zach's doing for me on the consulting side and the coaching side is he's built out kind of the same thing with dashboards to where my team does end of day reports. He uploads all the ad spend, all the ads inside of there, all of our different funnels and things like that. And it's basically just this AI created the sickest custom dashboard where I can go filter cash collected per rep, all these different things. And so, yeah, it's really cool. And I've been waiting for things like this for a while because I love the data. I love knowing the data. But I hate finding out how to put it together in a clean place, you know?
Totally. Yeah, it takes a lot of time. I think that's super good. So like, I'll show you this. This is what I was doing right before this.
Yeah, show us how to actually do it.
You want to know how to actually do it? All right. Okay.
Well, somebody will. I don't want to know how to actually do it, but there's probably somebody on here that will want to see it.
Yeah, so basically what we do for our clients is we have them import like lead quality into the lead sheet basically, and it like automatically goes in here. Anyways, for one of the clients, where is this? It's right here. For one of my clients, he's in Florida. He only wholesales and does cash deals. And they do like 250 deals a year. So we were basically trying to figure out how we can basically get a lower cost per acquisition through Meta with them. They mostly do PPC and direct mail, but basically on their spend, they spent $4,000 so far. They got their first contract at like 45-ish leads, and so basically we did a lead report or lead study. So a lot more leads than like normal. Like 45 is pretty shit for them. But we had a couple quality things, and then I basically was able to split out all of his qualified leads that are like close to an offer and sort out like I did this in like 3 minutes. I made this fucking dashboard and did all of this. Basically, the 3 ads we were testing on his account to start with, each one has a different cost. So you can see like this one is $77, this one's $142, this one's $57. But then when you put it by a grade A scored lead, so like a good lead, essentially that they like or gave an offer to, basically, you can see the cost for this one is $900, for this one it's $213, and for this one it's $375 per like offer that they gave. And so it's interesting seeing that because like this one has the lowest cost per lead, and when you watch the ad, you're like, oh, I think that would work, but then it didn't. And so that's one piece. The other piece that I thought was super interesting is we asked like how long the people have owned it, and out of here, there's 2 ones that we didn't have because we changed the form up. But out of the 6 that we have the years of ownership on there, all 5 came from 10 plus years of ownership for them because they only do cash deals, which I thought was super interesting. And so basically, I'm just gonna delete everything that's below 5 years of ownership for their account. And then we would save, that would save $700 and 9 leads that they had to call. And then plus, if we just look at this one right here, we only had 16 leads and 1 good lead. And this was 3 total leads and 2 good leads. So essentially like the quality, you can see how the efficiency would become so much more. Like if we only ran this ad and they got 10 leads, they'd probably get like 2 contracts, which is interesting. So that's just like looking at the AI, or looking at the data. But it's crazy how this basically, what I did, just to go a little deeper into it, and this is kind of getting a little nerdy, but basically like I spent a couple minutes in here. I uploaded pictures or the scripts that we ran, the stats, and then the images and the stats. And then I had it basically make this table. And then now I had it write different ads that would work based upon the exact person who's most likely to sell based on the data set. And so essentially, I don't know, essentially it's getting nerdy, but at the end of the day, what it allows you to do is go super deep into what's working and what's not. And AI just does it for you in about fucking 20 seconds.
I'm skeptical on the copy. But I love the data because dude, I'll tell you, I've ran into this so many times. And this is like part of the curse of me being like 100% sales focused and not a marketing focused guy, is I'll rely on other marketers. Now, like my marketing guy Lane right now is not like this. Lane cares about quality, cares about cost per contract like you do. But you have all these marketing agencies that are just like, oh, bro, what are you talking about? We're getting you $30 leads. Like they're all talking about cost per lead. And It's like I could have 10,000, $30 leads and people that fill out forms and none of them answer, or none of them, none of them actually have a property that they are wanting to sell. And I ran into that for a period with YouTube where we were always looking at cost per lead, but it wasn't cost per what we call opportunity. Somebody that actually has enough money for us to make money on it, enough equity for us to make money. They're actually going to sell in the next 90 days. That's really like all we look for is, can we make money on it? Does it have enough equity for us to be able to make money? And are they going to be selling in the next 90 days? I don't ever hold marketing companies to like, you need to get me motivated leads. Cause
it's kind of hard.
But if you're going to be selling the property in the next 90 days, you're a motivated lead to me. Yeah. Like I
agree. Now you need the right avatar through the door is what you need.
Yeah. Like you can't give me a bunch of people that are going to be selling in 3 years. Now, typically the odds are when you're running an ad, you're not going to get a lot of people that are going to be selling in 3 years. Like you run an ad that says sell your house. Most people are going to want to sell their house in the next 3 months. Like you're going to get the onesies and twosies that want to sell much later. But to me, I believe that anybody that wants to sell in the next 90 days and has enough equity to be able to sell is closable. That's a closable deal. You should be able to close that. And then you should close at least, 25 to 40% of those. That you should give offers on all of them, close 25 to 40% of them, which no marketing companies really look at that. They always look at cost per lead. But I really like what you just did is you went cost per lead, years of ownership, which is also cool, because you can pretty much just filter out right now in this time period, anybody that bought their house in the last 5 years. Yeah, that'd be 2021.
Yeah.
If they didn't put a sizable down payment on it, and in a lot of markets, they're not going to have any equity for you to make money.
Yep.
So that's awesome, man. And you've been running that for a while, or you just started that?
Well, I've been doing that process for a while for everyone, but just doing it with AI, realized it saved quite a bit of time. So, and then basically what I'm gonna do is automate it all to where it just happens every week, no matter what. That report just comes out and gets sent, and then the AI just tells us what to do, and it just tells my media buyer like what to go and change. And then obviously with the scripting and stuff, that's pretty simple. You can just kind of hone that in.
Could you build this out for me? Somebody could. I'm wondering how hard this would be to do. I would love for all of my calls inside my CRM to be transcribed and graded from think about this, dude. I have
I'm going to do this, so I will be able to
sales education. You know what I mean? Like I could upload thousands of hours of calls of me coaching, and literally, and they're all in a Google Drive. And if I could have my Claude bot go through and scrub all those and be like, you're going to have a really good idea of what a good sales call is supposed to sound like, plus my calls with my live closings, right?
Yeah.
And so I give it like a library, like, hey, I want you to think like me. This is how I coach. This is how I sound on my sales calls. This is what actually closes deals. Give it all of those things. And then at the end of each day, just send me a report that says, these are your closable deals that your reps should have closed, or like they could have closed. And this is why they didn't. And then it gives me an immediate thing to train them on the next day.
Yep.
You're saying you could do it.
You can 100% build that out. Yes, you can build that out, no problem, because all you just got to do is just train the AI. I don't know how to do it yet. I'm going to learn how to do that like this week. So, and then I'm building it out for myself first. And so we can work on that. And then I can last night I spent 2 hours just uploading a shit ton of sales calls, all like the scripts from the best performing ads, like basically everything that I have resource wise. It took me 3 hours to upload all this shit to the AI. And I said, okay, take this, speak in my voice. And then what I want you to do is I want you to come up with better ways to market this thing. And dude, it literally I'm not even, I like have 10 ads and multiple different angles that I never would have even come up with, but I'm like, dude, these will absolutely fucking do really well. And it happened in like 5 seconds. I've tweaked
I'm
like,
excited to see how that works because
well,
when
dude,
we
I just
used to
talked to
run-
Zach. So you know how Zach sent you a bunch of scripts recently?
Yeah.
He said he didn't write any of those. He said
Yeah.
he did it.
So
He didn't. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, but I'm curious.
I have to read those. I'm probably going to do that this weekend. I will tell you in the past what I've noticed with AI is it won't. So it kind of depends. Like if you're selling info products, then you really want your ads to sound like your voice. Otherwise, there's no congruency, right? Like people know how I talk. I am very direct. I don't put up with anyone's excuses when I'm on sales calls. Like I'll shut people down if they have a bad mindset. Like that's how I talk. And then I don't add a lot of fluff in my language, just with speaking in general. But if I try to run an AI ad, it will do that. Now, the thing is, if you're talking to,
it says that, so it did that. That's might have been my concern too. But it said, for me, it said, you write and speak the way you talk to a friend at a bar who's in the industry. Casual confidence, no fluff. You say bro, you say shit. Use incomplete sentences. You're not trying to sound polished. You're trying to sound real. And that's what makes you believable. Sentence structure, short, then medium. Then you hit with data to back up the short things you say. You lead with transparency. You show the bad along with the good. And then it wrote I literally would write the ad the same way, bro. I'll show you.
All right, if that works, because this is the problem. Well, and I had this problem when I was filming YouTube ads when we were running primarily YouTube. I have to film new ads every month or so. I would get frustrated that the ad didn't sound like me, but then I was like, man, honestly, I'm talking to a bunch of sellers that don't really know it's not like they're following me. Yeah. You know, they don't know how I speak. So, and they're not going to talk to me anyway. Once they fill out the form, they're going to talk to someone on my team. So none of those things really mattered. I could just read the ad copy. And as long as I used the right inflection in my voice, the ad could work. I have noticed though, with a brand, like if you saw Alex Hermosi show up on an ad and started to sound completely different than how he actually talks, you'd be like, what the heck is that? You know?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. And
I definitely agree.
And so that's what I ran into with like ChatGPT told me all that same stuff. Like, oh, you speak direct. This is how you talk. I'm like, all right, cool. Write an ad in my voice. And it starts sounding like a freaking weirdo. And
no, I don't.
That's been my problem with AI so far.
I had the same problem. That's why I never used it. This is actually with Claude, is the AI one.
It's just better.
It's just
I think it's better at picking up your voice. It's better at creating ad copy.
It's like you at sales, compared to most people, right? You're just better. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just fucking around. No, it's like that's just how it is. It definitely is just like, I mean, obviously, like there's small things you'll want to tweak in there, but it's like, this kind of doesn't flow perfectly. It's like it uses the words in an order I wouldn't say it, but the concept is like exactly the same.
Yeah, I love the idea of everything AI, and I can't wait for it to work flawlessly. I just haven't seen it yet work. Like even the dashboards that we've created, there are still little things that go wrong, and I'm like, it's like, if your girlfriend cheats on you once, you can't trust her. And so it's the same thing with AI. It's like a second it gives me something and I go, oh, this is not accurate. So like there was something that we were running and some sort of test we were trying to find in our CRM, and I ran a report and I asked the AI thing, and the AI was not accurate, and obviously the report was accurate, but there was like a few things I had to check to make sure the report was accurate. And I haven't found AI to do that on complex things. Now, simple things like, for example, you have a lead sheet and your clients, as long as they fill it out accurately every single time and that all gets updated, like what you just showed me is all from like front end marketing data. I could see that being super accurate.
Yeah, I do agree. Really? I definitely agree with the complicated, like the complicated things, right? It's like I tried having it scrape my ad account last night. And I was like, tell me what I need to do with this. And it needed me more education. It wasn't quite there.
Yeah. Yeah. One
Like,
day it will
I was
be. And I'm
watching a
really
video.
excited for that.
This guy has there's guys who literally no longer have any like admin people in their team now. Like they fully have AI agents is what they call it. It's kind of interesting.
Man, I can't wait for that.
Dude, right?
I feel like I feel like with complicated things like relying on reps to fill out their admin properly, that it's not quite there, but it can be, because I had this idea, and people can steal this because I'm not going to get around. I have too many other things on my plate to get around to this, but I thought, how cool would it be if you had an AI admin that would listen to the calls inside of your CRM and properly fill out all the admin? So like, we understand the importance of data. And one of the things I did in my CRM, we talked about this weeks ago, is I made all of the fields that I want to be filled out mandatory fields. So they can't move and it's fucking awesome now, because I'll go in my CRM and
everything's clean.
Seller bottom dollar on every lead is filled out. Offer made, offer date, appointment status, everything's filled out. And then I create some competition with my team to where the next step, so basically every lead has to have a task. And if it doesn't have a task, somebody else can go and grab it. So, however, there still are opportunities in my CRM that don't have tasks, and no one's grabbed them yet. But how cool would it be if you had an AI that would say, listen to the call and go, well, the next step was to call this lead at 1 p.m. tomorrow because they couldn't talk right now. And it would automatically do that.
Be pretty fucking sick.
Burger King is about to drop an AI into all their employees' headsets and give them real-time instructions and feedback. I don't know why you would want that working at Burger King. Like, what are they going to tell you to do? What, are you going to upsell them fucking more fries? You know what I mean?
Dude, that's actually yeah, what the fuck?
Right. I think that's the signature line that they're famous for is, would you like to add fries with that, or would you like to supersize that? That might be McDonald's.
Dude, it might be. I do think like that stuff's not far away though, John. I feel like the one problem is teaching the AI like how to do, like the hardest part's like teaching it like you're training someone else on your team. Yeah. And that's the biggest crux, because I feel like the thing right now, because we have a transcript tool that like puts all the transcripts in the CRM, and it's like it's not bad, but it's definitely like not good. You never know how like the iPhone has that like AI summary thing on there. Yeah, it's like not that accurate. When it summarizes the text messages, I'm like, that's like, it's not wrong, but it's like doesn't have the context usually. So that's where it definitely lacks, I feel like. But I do think it may not be super far away.
No. I mean, think about it, dude. None of this stuff was even happening 3 months ago. This stuff didn't even exist. So I agree. It feels like it's close, but I haven't seen enough of a proof of concept of anybody's that actually works well yet to where I'm like, oh, this is worth my time spending all my time doing this, until I see this can actually think. Now, are you using, what is it, N8N? Are you using that?
No, I'm not using N8N. That does look pretty nice though, the automated stuff.
That's the part where I could see if you get good at it, it's going to work. Now, if I was a virtual assistant and I lived in the Philippines or Colombia, the only thing that I would be learning right now is N8N and Claude, and trying to get all that stuff set up properly. Because do you remember back in like 2019 and 20, like used to go to Fiverr to get people to do like set up zaps for you? Maybe some people still do that, I guess. But
or like do your Podio automations or whatever,
like there wasn't a YouTube content necessarily about how to do the things properly.
Do, like, complicated like Google Sheets formulas and shit,
Dude. All right, I'll tell you. I was interviewing EAs, I don't know, sometime last year, and they're all college kids for the most part. And I was just testing them on spreadsheets. It's like, all right, pull up a spreadsheet. Let's do some formulas. And I just wanted to see if they can create a spreadsheet that had leads, qualified appointments, offers, contracts. These people all had college degrees, by the way. All of these EAs, they had college degrees. And so I would think anybody with a college degree would know how to use simple, like equal sum formulas, divided by formulas, average formulas, all those things that you would think that they would be able to do those things. And I was like, you could use whatever resources you want. I would ask them a simple question like, what is my lead to qualified ratio? And they would go into ChatGPT and type in, how do I create this formula? And I'm like, it kind of reminds me of, I wasn't alive for this, but when calculators came up, teachers used to say, well, you're not going to be able to carry a calculator in your pocket all the time. It's like, yeah, you are. But also, I think there's something to be said to be able to do simple math. Like, what if you couldn't add? You know what I mean? Like, what if you couldn't add and subtract and do like simple division or simple division in your head? You're like, oh, we had 100 leads and 80 of them were qualified. And I had to go to a calculator to figure that out, that's 80%. Mm-hmm. I think there's issues there, and people are getting just, I don't want to use the word.
Yeah, you can use it, bro.
I don't want to drop the wrong. I'm trying to not drop that word as much anymore, but they're just being stupid, like you have to be able to do some basic stuff as well. Yeah. And people are relying on AI so much to do simple tasks. It's like, all right, you have to have some skill, like be able to freaking use a spreadsheet. Otherwise, it's going to take you 10 hours versus something that should take you 15 minutes because you're. Yeah. And I was watching these people doing this too, and ChatGPT was giving them the wrong formula for something simple like a divided by. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I was like immediately like, I can't hire you because this is such a simple task that you're going to take 3 hours to do something that could be done in 10 minutes.
Or maybe even in your fucking head.
Dude, yeah. Like most of the time when we're talking about numbers,
most of the time you go like you try to get those numbers, you're within like 1% or 1 to 5% like every time. You're like,
yeah,
like this,
Yeah, and at least enough to go, oh, that's a bad version, right? If somebody's like, oh, I had 15 offers and I had 5 contracts. I'm like, okay, 33% is pretty good, like I just 15 divided by 5. Yeah, 1/3. So I'm like,
I mean, it gets harder when you have like, in the several hundreds and like, you're dealing with bigger numbers, but it's not that bad.
When I was younger, bro, I had this app that I would do for 15 minutes a day. That was just basic. It would start basic and then it would go a lot harder. And I just got really good at division, multiplication, and you can do it all in your head super fast. And then I don't have to pull up ChatGPT or a calculator for that stuff. So yeah, I think that people, it's good that we have that stuff, but also people are not developing basic skills because they just rely on ChatGPT for everything.
Do you think that's like just a general intelligence thing? Because I think there's maybe I think like, I don't know, dude, like I see the AI stuff and I think, oh wow, like that's opportunity and something I need to learn so I can leverage it better. And I can't be a dumbass. Like I need to understand it, how it works.
Yeah.
And I'm not the smartest guy, but I'm not the dumbest guy. And I feel like if you just look at a bell curve where most people sit on the bell curve, like just think about the difference between like 100 is like the average IQ and then like 80 being like you can't be in the military. Right. So like,
first of all, I don't think you're average intelligence, bro.
No. I'm saying, but no, just think of like what I'm saying is think about the average intelligence of 100 to 80. 1 second.
Yeah. Samantha and I were talking about this.
And then go the reverse way. So go from 100 to 120. Okay, like that's how big of a difference 100 is to 120, and then 100 to 80. Like you go from like you can't functionally operate in like normal society to a normal person to like then like go to above average. So I guess if you think about that, when I think about it, I'm like, okay, that means like if your IQ is like, if you're like less than like, dude, I had a cold car once, the worst cold car I ever had. I did an IQ test for everyone in the company. She had an 89 IQ. And I was like, that makes sense. You know, it all
Yeah.
checks out. Like everyone's stacked up like in the team exactly where their IQ was. And so I was like, dude,
Interesting.
which I thought was super interesting as well.
Yeah.
And so I was like, damn, like, you know, if you just think about it, like if you're below, if you're like, you just don't have it's like a horsepower in a car, right? If you don't have the horsepower
Yeah.
in your car, you just can't go fast. And I think it's the same thing for people. And I think AI helps, but I think like some people just don't have like the
I
outside the
prefer.
box thinking. I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking. You can just
You
Google
can find IQ tests. I did an IQ test like 2 years ago. I don't remember. I don't remember what my IQ was, but I know it was like it was. You're probably higher than me, but I know it was far above average. It was maybe 147, if that sounds right. I don't know.
147. That's high.
It wasn't. I wasn't like genius, but I was pretty.
That's like way higher. Mine was 130. 147 super high.
Maybe it's 127. I don't know. Like I have to go back. I've been looking for that report because I don't want to go through and do that thing again because it took a while.
Yeah,
then no. If 140 is genius, then I'm not genius. I know I wasn't genius though.
I think 130 is like top 0.25% on the bell curve or whatever, and then 140 you're like top like 1%.
I was not genius. So somebody said 140 is genius. It did say like genius is this. My brother, I have a brother.
I bet you're close though, dude. You're definitely like in high 120s minimum.
Yeah, maybe it was 127. I'll find. I'll redo it. I'll redo it again. I know my brother is like he's. I have two brothers that are like this. They're ridiculously high IQ, but also they have a hard time understanding people. You know, like they have a hard time relating to normal people because they're too smart. They're like one of them works on jets. For the like top secret jets for the military. Yeah, he went through the most prestigious school in the world in Belgium or something I think it was Belgium. And he just like I love talking to him. It's really interesting, but I could tell he thinks I'm an idiot. He's like I was asking him some questions about something on stress tolerance on jets, and he's like, well, obviously when you get to that level of speed, you're in uncharted territory that is above what astrophysics can predict, and so it's all testing. I'm like, yeah, obviously, bro.
Clearly, you're like, no,
obviously, man.
I was just testing you, actually, fucking idiot.
Yeah. I was just making sure you knew that, bro. But you know, like that, he can sit there and nerd out over that stuff forever, and I don't think that. I don't think that problems are difficult for him to solve. He looks at it like if I had a problem, he would look at it completely differently than me. But you're right. Yeah, IQ. Going back to that, people talk about like somebody's like talking about PI and Myers-Briggs and all that stuff. DISC. I will look at that to ask questions, and I'll give you an example. One of our mutual friends, Justin, I sent him a DISPO rep. And the guy was interviewing for acquisitions. And I looked at his DISC profile, and it was like really high D, really, really low I, high C, higher C than D. And for you guys that don't know what that means, it just means that he's analytical. And he doesn't like people. And he was talking about how he would sell cars and how he would buy cars at a discount. And I could tell he would get frustrated with people when they couldn't see that the value of their car wasn't there. I was like, that's going to be a problem because when you talk to sellers, all of the sellers think their house is worth more than it is. And then you have to get it much deeper than that. And so I just told him right there, I was like, bro, your personality is not going to work. Not because you're not intelligent. I could tell he had a high IQ, but you're just not going to work in this position. But I had to ask him a few questions before I came to that conclusion. Like, I asked him like, man, it sounds like people frustrate you. He's like, no, I only get frustrated when they aren't using common sense. I'm like, boom, right away. Red flag for an acquisitions manager, because acquisitions managers are going to talk to people that are not using common sense.
Yeah.
So I will use those, but I've had a high C. That was one of my best performing acquisitions managers. Brought in like 200. He would rip like 250K months, and he was a high C. He was very analytical. He was also methodical about how he would go about his sales process. And so it helped him in that way.
Yeah, I think analytical people can be great at sales if they're like socially inclined.
Yeah.
Because you like if you're very analytical, then you basically like memorize everything that's ever happened, essentially. If you have a high IQ
Yeah.
and like you just know like intuitively like what to do in those positions, and then it becomes like second nature because you just like study it so much. I,
Yeah. I
I
did
just
a
think like those people are harder on average to like make salespeople for sure because it's hard to find someone who's analytical, smart, and also great with people. You know.
and social. Yeah. I did a podcast with Jonathan Wisman, who's the author of Sales Boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I was using his platform for a while. Honestly, it's a more enterprise level software than he sells it to companies that are not enterprise at all. But I think it would work a lot better if you were for bigger companies. And here's why. He has a platform called Who Hire. It's awesome. It helps a lot on the automation on the front end for hiring people. But what it does is it creates a blueprint, like a fingerprint for a good sales rep. And it does that by interviewing top performing reps. Now, this is perfect if you have 30 top performing reps, and then you could say, or 30 reps, and you could say, these are the top 5, and you can create that blueprint within your own company. Or like what he does is he'll go into roofing companies, and he has so many roofing companies that he can actually create that blueprint off of hundreds of roofing companies, right? So he knows, yeah, he knows what a good acquisitions manager is. So it will go through like a hour-long assessment, asking them questions and figuring out what the likelihood of this person to succeed is. And it's insanely accurate, like extremely accurate. I know some of the top wholesaling companies in the country have used it as well.
Like iBuyers, they used it.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't going to drop their name, but yeah, they used it.
Well, I'm on their website. It's right here. I actually like. I know.
They
knew they used it, and they also put it on their website. So.
Okay. Cool.
That's why
So exactly. Like they used it, and they're hiring geniuses, right?
They literally said it was like they said it predicted 7 for 7. Whenever I talked to them when they first started using it, they hired 7 people.
Insane.
They predicted exactly what they'd stack up in their team. And so basically they were just obsessing over like trying to find the highest percentage match and like doing whatever they could to hire those people.
I'd imagine that would work really well. The issue I ran into is at the time it didn't have an acquisitions manager blueprint, so I had to go off of something else. But if I had an acquisitions manager blueprint, man, and then maybe they do now, I would be like, this is the exact thing that I would go off of for hiring. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that a disc profile alone is a good indicator of if somebody's going to be good or not. And I had this client who he was asking me to review some of his candidates that he was hiring, and all he sent me was their resume and their disc profile. And I was like, bro, this doesn't tell me anything. Like I need to actually interview.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, like when I went and did their like algorithm or whatever, they let me do all their tests. They did 4 different tests. Dude, shit took me like fucking 2 hours to do. They made me do the PI, the COG, which I already done the PI, but the COG assessment. They had me do like the 14 or 16 personalities one, like the ENTJ or whatever it is, that kind of thing. And then they had me do like this other like super fucking like intense, basically PI, but like dude 10 times more intense like of questions and stuff. It was all kinds of things. They had me do like there was like a math assessment on there, like all kinds of stuff. It was really fucking rigorous, like mentally actually. And then basically all that stuff together built your profile that they had there. Like they must have been, I'm sure it was through the Who Hire situation. They were consulting with them or whatever. And basically it told you like what role that this person would fit in at your business, in your business. And it's very interesting. But yeah.
I think there's too many variables there though. So think about this. Number one, if I'm applying for a job and the question is, how competitive are you? And even if I'm not that competitive, I'm going to say, oh, I'm the most competitive person in the world. How, I don't know.
I
How
don't know if
motivated are
everyone's
you?
correct, I'm pretty sure they're not. I've asked that question before.
What?
How competitive? Like they're like, you can't just say how competitive are you. You have to give like this is what Eric was telling me. He was like, you have to ask them a question based on like if you saw like a dollar on the street and you and another guy arrived at the same time, like what would you do?
So
And then in that
I
situation, it's like
that's not how they ask the questions though
they
on a
ask
lot of
them,
these predictive index questions. They ask like rate yourself on like likely to like very likely to unlikely. And it's like
yes,
I tend to feel like I'm extremely competitive, and then they'll be like very likely. That's
yeah.
how they ask them on
No,
the
yeah, yeah.
PI. And
On your questionnaire, this is what Eric was telling me. He asked you these types of questions on the interview process because what the number one thing they care about is greed. How much greed does an acquisitions person have? And if they're an extremely greedy person, then that is going to be like the best type of person to have as an acquisitions rep. Greedy with morals and ethics, of course. They said you have to have those balance, otherwise you're not gonna be good.
yeah, I was gonna say
But he said like
that could see that backfiring
yeah,
really
yeah,
fast.
totally.
You have a bunch of
Totally.
greedy salespeople that are stealing leads, and you know what
But
I mean.
yeah,
But it
exactly.
makes sense. Morals too.
Yeah, you gotta have the moral. But that's what he told me. He's like that's like one of the number one predictors for being better at sales from like a competitive and greediness because it allows you to stick in there for deeper discounts and it's interesting.
I would disagree. I mean, they know more than me about hiring, so they've hired a lot of people. But I think from what I've seen from sales reps, being greedy, you could be really greedy and also a bad salesperson. I get it. I get it from your personality though. Like you want people that really want to hang in there and fight to get a deal, and they're extremely competitive and they want to beat everybody else. I agree with that. But that's not what's going to close the deal. What's going to close the deal is your ability to build trust.
Yeah,
that's the number one thing I've seen.
Yeah. No, I agree with
By
you.
the way, somebody asked a question inside the chat. We've Dad asked, do you guys do disc stuff? I'm a high DC. Started as an acquisitions manager, locked 7 deals up so far at the end of his 4th full week. That's pretty good, man. I have an agent background. I'm using the Klein script, which is, I think, near identical to what you coach at Level Up. Is that accurate?
No,
so you're using that now? I know you were using like a. No, you're using like a.
It's kind of like a hybrid of a couple of different things. Nico made it, but it's like it's kind of like similar. It's got like things from a couple of different places. It's obviously not the exact NEPQ stuff, but yeah, it's the same concept. Like get into the situation, figure out what's going on. It's not your exact process.
So I've been hopping back in on the phones this last week. I just hired a new rep, and I'm having him shadow me. So I'm just doing these basic boiler room style. Everybody just gets on a Zoom call, and we all just make phone calls. And anytime they're stuck, I'll just hop in and I'll help them close a deal. And so I was doing a live call yesterday with them, and it was just like literally just went 1 for 1. Like hopped on a call, locked up a deal. It's like, all right, cool. You guys got that? Go do this. But I was walking them through why my objection handling actually works. And this is a topic I've been talking to with my students a lot, of why my objection handling works, why some people can do the exact same thing as me and it doesn't work. And it's not that it's not a repeatable process. It's just they're focusing on the wrong thing. And so think about if you tell a seller, I'm going to give you no context.
Okay.
And so you tell a seller that their house is not worth what they think it's worth and the other offers are not real. What's the seller going to say?
They're going to say, fuck you.
Yeah. Why the hell would I listen to you?
Also, I'm listening. I'm just closing this behind me.
But what if you go through and you build a lot of trust with that seller? You understand everything about what they're going through. You build empathy with them. You even offer to help them with some things outside of the transaction, like you send them a DoorDash because they need food, or you help them. I don't know, like you help them go to one of their doctor's appointments. You have somebody go pick them up and bring them to a doctor's appointment. Like you build that level of trust with them. Yep. And then you tell them, hey, my concern for you is that you're going to have a bunch of companies that come and they're going to put higher numbers on a piece of paper. we could do that too. The reason that I don't do that is I want to give you an offer that I know is going to close. And the reason that I'm not going to just put a high number on a piece of paper is I know how important it is for you to be able to start this next chapter of your life. How believable is that?
A lot more. Like
Extremely
I at least
believable,
know
right?
I at least know your intent is 100% true. Whether it works for me or not, that's a different situation. But
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, like I believe that that's what your angle is.
Yeah, exactly. And so
I believe it's the truth.
And so people will try the objection handling without building the trust on the front end, which is why I like Revioso. I'm not super inclined to use that type of process. Is all of the objection handling, no objection handling does not work at all unless the seller trusts you. Because if you are trying to get down to a seller's real concern, they're like, hey, just let me sign this tomorrow. And you're like, well, what do you need to think about? If they don't trust you, they're going to say nothing. Let me just call you back. Right? If they really feel like they are comfortable with you and they can trust you, they're going to tell you, I'm just really concerned about this. Then you can help them through that concern. But it all comes from building trust on the front end. And so if I had one skill that I could just say, hey, I can only get one skill from all of my acquisitions managers, what is that one thing? It would be the ability to build trust. And there's that can be taught, but also some people can do it more naturally than other people. And part of being trustworthy is also not telling people what they want to hear all the time, because people are smart enough to know that if you tell people what they want to hear all the time, there's always a catch. Like if something sounds too good to be true, there's a catch, right? And if you look at people that are influential, that are selling to like a more sophisticated demographic, they don't just sell the upsides, they sell the downsides too. Hormozi talks about this a lot. It's going to be really hard. It's probably going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. It's going to take a lot of work, but it will also be the most rewarding thing that you could do for your business, right? Like you tell them all the bad things, you tell them the good things. And when you can do that with sellers as well, and you can actually build trust with them by listening to their problems, understanding their problems, and then being authentic, then your objection handles will work because you're actually helping them get to that end result, even when you're not the highest price, even when there's other offers that are above yours. That would be the one thing. That's always the thing that I'm trying to screen for with acquisitions managers. Outside of the culture fits of having a lot of grit, being able to, I guess, not be emotional, because it can be, sales is an emotional job. Sometimes you go, a week without a contract. Sometimes you get 8 contracts in a week and you feel like you're the shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? Totally. So you got your notepad out there. What are we doing over here?
I was about to write down how in my sales process can I implement more negatives, in there. So like, how do you go about that in your thoughts? Like, because I agree. If you talk to someone, you go, dude, like, honestly, I don't know if you should do it because of like X, Y, and Z. To like, talking to a buddy, they're like, oh, well, like, why do you think that? And then you explain your situation, and they're like, and then like, well, like, and then they kind of like the upside. They're like, then they really like take your opinion a lot more, right? You know what I mean? It's like, it builds way more trust. So how do you think you could implement that in like or how do you probably already do this? How do you implement that in like your sales process? That's what it had me turning on,
Yeah. So let's talk about delivering the price, right? And part of this actually I just started doing more recently. Ren came in and coached our group, who I think I'm not one of those salespeople that I think I'm the best salesperson ever. I think I'm really good at coaching people at a repeatable process, but if it comes like pure intuition sales and reps doing it, like I don't think anybody in this entire industry has done more reps than Brent.
Bro, that motherfucker closed a lot of deals.
Dude, yeah, he closed
like probably like the 2 people that are like the highest.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about him, but I think he closed like 19 by himself last month, is what he told me. He's an animal.
That's incredible.
He puts up the same amount of contracts as a team. That's why I have him coaching my group too. And so
19 is
like
wild.
he was talking about something. Now I've done something similar where let's say that you've got a cash offer for somebody. They were asking for a cash offer, but you realize that this is a novation property. Instead of me just being like hitting them with the cash offer and trying to convince them to take it, I might do something like, man, I've got a cash offer. I'll give it to you because I know that's what you asked for, but I'm just going to let you know the number. I think I have another option that's going to work way better for you. And then you give them the cash offer when you give it. Hey, like, just so you know, it's super low. I don't even expect you to take this. It's $236,500. Now, I know that's nowhere where we need to be. And I know the most important thing was you getting over to your grandkids down in Florida, right? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about the other option. Then you go into like a novation pitch, right? You kind of, hey, I have this option. You shouldn't take it. Now, sometimes people are like, actually, John, I really want the cash offer. Now, because I didn't pitch it so hard as you should take that, I can go back and I can say, interesting. Hey, I want to make sure you're making the best decision for you. Why do you feel like the cash offer would help you better? What are you going to tell me when I ask you that?
I'm going to tell you exactly why I like the cash offer.
And when you're doing that, you're selling yourself as to why that's the better option for you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a big thing that I'll do. I'll also.
Do you do that because this is an interesting question, and we do that for people who we know are like not going to take the cash offer or are like almost certain, it's like definitely a retail type house. Mm-hmm. But almost in a way, it kind of makes sense. This is where I think
to do it every time.
To do it every time, but then the slippery slope of the thing, I'm answering this in my head as I'm talking to you, is if you give, depending on how you position it, you have to change the price of the novation depending on the type of property. But I also believe it's like you have novation properties and you have cash properties, right? Because if you have a shitter and it's going to go in the MLS, it's going to kind of need to be the same price or similar terms as the cash price anyways, because it's going to go to the same buyer. So it's like the terms and price are pretty much going to be the same depending on the property. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Pitching it every time versus just
Rent City pitches it every time. Really? Besides like foreclosures and things like that. But what I do is let's say that it's a cash price, and I'll make my offer more realistic by telling them why I'm lower than the other offers. Like, man, look, I could be one of those companies that says, hey, you got a $70,000 cash offer. Let me match that. And honestly, man, if you really wanted me to do that, like I could put that on a piece of paper, but it sounded like for you, the most important thing was not the number on the piece of paper. The most important thing, like you really wanted that certainty, right?
Yeah.
And why'd you want that? Why was that certainty so important? Remind me. And then they'll be like, because of this, because of that. Man, so here's the thing. Like, do you want to take a gamble with somebody that's just going to give you the highest number? Or do you want to work with somebody that you know is going to close? Definitely somebody I know is going to close. And based on our conversation so far, man, do you trust me that we're going to close this? And when I ask that question, people are like, oh my gosh, yeah. And another angle.
If they don't say that, you already fucked it up.
Oh, I was like, I messed it up earlier. So I was on a call. I actually thought about dropping this. I did it was the call I did yesterday where it was like a 3.5 hour me just making calls with my team. I was coaching one of my reps through an objection handle. I locked up a deal. And at one point, my rep was going through and he was using the objection handle, and the seller said something along the lines of like, well, you don't know that that's true. And I just told him like, bro, pause, call her back later. I'm going to have to coach you more on this because we're not going to win this objection handle. We're going to have to build trust before we go back into it. And the reason that happened is because I could tell she didn't actually trust him. Mm-hmm. And so if she doesn't trust him, the objection handler is just going back to what we were saying earlier, right? So that sort of concept of building trust by letting them know you care more about what they're after than trying to win the agreement helps a lot when you're in your sales process. And I haven't found that AI can do that yet.
I don't think AI,
you know what I mean?
It's going to be a little bit of time for the acquisition side of any business. Oh, yeah. And the trust is like delegated out to AI. I mean, that could be, I mean, you never know, but I definitely feel like we're definitely several years out from that even being like a real thing. I do think junior sales, like call it like general like cold calling or follow-up specialists or setters or whatever,
Oh
probably
yeah.
pretty much be done. I bet in the next 1 to 2 years, I bet is pretty feasible to phase that out with like
Yeah.
high percentage of like success.
Yeah,
Um,
especially if your marketing can do a lot of the front end lifting.
yeah,
Like, you know, if you are doing direct mail, you really just need an AI to go, hey, when do you want to talk to a rep? Give me some basic details like the address, and the AI can do that.
you just need a hundred
Um,
percent answer rate, really, and not to fuck it up. You know,
yeah, but you know what an AI couldn't do?
what?
Call me, and be like a super pissed off seller because you have I sent you an offer for $140,000 on a check, and your property's worth $300,000. So just call me and let's role play it. An AI cannot do this.
Yeah, ring
So
ring.
this is John with Selly's USA. How may I help you?
Dude, you guys fucking sent me a letter for like 100, like 120,000. My property's worth 300. Like, never take me off your fucking list and stop
Hold
doing it.
on.
You guys are scammers.
Okay, but let me take you off the list. You said you got an offer at 140,000. Your property's worth 300.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You're the third person that's called me this week and has told me that exact same thing. I've already yelled at our marketing team. They've been sending out these super low offers. Was it on one of those like little check things?
Yeah, yeah, it was. It was like on that check thing. It was like signed, said I could get this or something similar.
Yeah. How much did you say your property is worth?
Probably like 300, 320 is what Zillow
Wow.
says.
Interesting. And this is a house that you live in?
Yeah, yeah, I do.
Gosh, man, I can't believe they did that. So I'm going to take you off the list, man, and I'll get that updated. Now, can I ask you, if they didn't send you a ridiculously low offer, like let's say they actually sent you something that was fair, were you actually looking to sell the property?
To someone who would pay a reasonable price, yeah, I'd sell it.
Okay. Well, I don't know anybody that would want to sell their house for, $140,000 that's worth 300. So I don't blame you for that at all, man. I apologize that we got off on the wrong foot. My name's John, by the way. What's your name?
I'm Chandler. Yeah.
I'm in my sales
Sorry,
call.
sorry about yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, if you guys buy, I mean, obviously, like I'm not gonna give the property away, but you know,
I would never ask you. I would never ask you to do that, man. AI can't do that. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Not yet.
not yet. They will be at some point, and they'll do it better than humans, but not yet.
They're not going to be better than me. No, I'm just kidding.
In 5 years, we'll fucking clip this shit and send it to John and be like, "Hey, bro."
You're like my entire sales team is AI.
I like the hold on. The hold on was actually like I've never heard someone do that. That's actually really nice. The pattern interrupt. I like that.
It's called a verbal cue. And so, yeah, like it. So what I'll do that when I'm going deeper with sellers. So like, for example, tell me a problem. Yeah. So what came up recently that caused you to want to do this now though?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the tenant just left the property kind of a wreck and you just kind of want to get rid
Hold
of
on. What? They left the property a wreck. What did they do to it?
They that's actually really nice.
You know what I mean? Like, hold on, what? And
You're
they're
like,
I use
can't
these
believe
verbal
it.
cues all the time. And then they go, oh, this person's actively listening, and then they're gonna go deeper. Right.
Mhm.
These are the things if you because we have a role play. I've been talking to you about our role play AI that dude, it doesn't
Do it.
it doesn't freaking do verbal cues, and it's so annoying. If you try to use verbal cues with the AI, it thinks you're talking, and so then it stops. And so yeah, that's the other issue. But I do like everything that you're building for the marketing side. I'd see it working 100%. It just I haven't found it to work for what I want it to work for yet. I see it working for you though.
I think your sales process grading based on like lead quality score, the two things there, like
Yeah.
how good was the process versus how good is the lead. And if there's a mismatch, like let's say it was a fucking 6 process out of 10 and a 10 out of 10 lead, I bet like that, like I mean that would be like immediately green flag, like fucking call this shit again, like with your better rep.
I think you could do that right now.
No, yeah, you could do that right now. I actually talked to one of my friends because I fucking called everyone I knew this morning who was doing AI. Well, besides that, I knew we were going to talk about it, so I did call you actually. But yeah, and one of my buddies is doing that actually. He said it's working well. So,
dude, we should. Oh, you did call me.
Make an
Right?
AI
I didn't see
mastermind.
that.
You want to do that? You get like an AI mastermind going. Fucking.
I don't know, man. Like
One call a month.
Yeah, my business coach sent a group chat. It's in a text in a group chat, and he said, "You guys are using AI like poor people." So, and basically just got on a call and started yelling at us like, "Why the fuck are you guys doing all this shit? You just hire somebody to do all this stuff because they're going to be way better at it. You're trying to learn it. You're trying to like which." There's certain applications where this was Jeremy, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's certain applications you can tell by the way I'm talking.
Oh yeah. There's only one guy I know that we both know that would talk like that.
Yeah, but I see his point. I also see like for you, the data that you're getting for your clients, like me about to be one of your clients and run some of your Facebook ads. I'm like, oh, that's going to be sick. The fact that he's going to be able to see what my cost per opportunity is, and he's going to be able to see it really quick. And then he's going to go on the back end. I would rather you know how to do that than go hire somebody else because you're going to be the one actually like looking at a high level overview of my ad account. So I do see it with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think it depends on like where your role is at the business. Like, it's like, I also like, it's kind of thing that it's kind of something that, I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's the skill that you need to know. And like, yes, I agree with Jeremy's perspective. I also think that if you don't know it and understand it, I think like if you don't at least you can pay someone to do it and like do the work. And I think that's a completely smart thing to do. And I'm probably after I like learn the basics. But for me, it's like anything I do, I want to know the basics so I'm not getting cooked, you know? Like it's like if I was gonna go flip a house, like I'm gonna understand the basics of flipping a fucking house before I go flip a house because I know if I'm getting fucked or not, you know? And so it's kind of
you feel like it's more like the owner of the business not knowing how to do sales. Like you're like, man, I need to understand the basics of how a sales call should go.
But I need to be good at sales, you know?
Yeah. Do you need to understand how to coach them? So that's what you're doing with AI. So you're saying I should learn the AI.
I think that you're going to do what you want to do. I personally think that
I'm going to listen to you, bro.
I think that everyone I know who's in a similar position to where you, I, or people ahead of us, they are learning AI that are like on doing AI. Like they're,
you think the big guys are doing that?
30 deals a month, closing 30 deals a month, and he's implementing AI in his business. He's the guy doing it.
Interesting.
And he's doing a lot of business. I mean, they did $700K in February, I think. So,
okay.
If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me, bro. In my opinion.
I really want to figure out
I'm disrespecting your rule. I should have hopped in already.
I want to figure out the AI sales audit, like help with if it can help me with sales management, it can help me with CRM audits. I guess I'm going to order a MacBook Mini and we're going to keep you guys updated on how it goes. So
let's do it. All right, bro.
This is a good one, man.
This is a good one. I will talk to you guys soon. John, I'm going to call you after this because we got to talk. But other than that, I will see you guys soon. Peace.
Later, guys.